Introduction to Semantics. Defining terms. Definitions. Semantics, from Greek, semantikos, is the study of meaning. There are some fields focused on this study, such as philosophy, philosophical semantics, psychology, psychological semantics, etc. Linguistic semantics equals word semantics. Meaning. It is provided by community of native speakers, not by some special authority like a dictionary or grammar book. It is not just a definition. It is not just mental images. Its truth is related to the condition. Utterance's meaning involves how to use it. Meaning is a complex phenomenon involving relationship between a language and minds of its speakers, a language in the world, and a language in the practical use to which it is put. Examples of meaning's complexity. Merry means well. The red flag means danger. Smoke means fire. Merry means trouble. Some basic notions in semantics. Utterances. Sentences. Propositions. Utterance. An utterance is any stretch of talk, by one person, before and after which there is silence on the part of that person. An utterance is a use by a particular speaker, on a particular occasion, of a piece of language, such as a sequence of sentences, or a single phrase, or even a single word. Exercises. 1. Hello yes, no. 2. Not much yes, no. 3. Utterances may consist of a single word, a single phrase or a single sentence. They may also consist of a sequence of sentences. It is not unusual to find utterances that consist of one or more grammatically incomplete sentence fragments. In short, there is no simple relation of correspondence between utterances and sentences yes, no. 4. Skajimji yes, no. 5. Splotzenfler, yes, no. Utterances are physical events. Events are ephemeral. Utterances are physical events. Events are ephemeral. Utterances die on the wind. Linguistics deals with spoken language and we will have a lot to say about utterances in semantics discussion. Sentence. A sentence is neither a physical event nor a physical object. It is, conceived abstractly, a string of words put together by the grammatical rules of a language. A sentence can be thought of as the ideal string of words behind various realizations and utterances and inscriptions. Some examples will help to get the idea of a sentence across. Indicate your answer by choosing yes or no. 1. Do all performances of Macbeth begin by using the same sentence? Yes, no. 2. Do all performances of Macbeth begin with the same utterance? Yes, no. 3. Does it make sense to talk of the time and place of a sentence? Yes, no. 4. Does it make sense to talk of the time and place of an utterance? Yes, no. 5. Can one talk of a loud sentence? Yes, no. 6. Can one talk of a slow utterance? Yes, no. We adopt the convention that anything written between single quotation marks represents an utterance, and anything italicized represents a sentence or, similarly abstract, part of a sentence, such as a phrase or a word. Example. Help represents an utterance. The steeples have been struck by lightning represents a sentence. The steeples have been struck by lightning represents an utterance. John represents a word conceived as part of a sentence. Exercises. For each of the following label it as an utterance, U, or sentence, S, as appropriate, by deciding your choice. A. The train now arriving at platform 1 is from King's Cross, U, S. B. The pelican ignores the linguist U, S. Not all utterances are actually tokens of sentences, but sometimes only of parts of sentences, for example phrases or single words. A sentence is a grammatically complete string of words expressing a partial, complete thought. This very traditional definition is unfortunately vague, but it is hard to arrive at a better one for our purposes. It is intended to exclude any string of words that does not have a verb in it, as well as other strings. The idea is best shown by examples. Example: I would like a cup of coffee is a sentence. Coffee, please is not a sentence. It's mine. S in the kitchen, please put it in the kitchen, John. Who is there? Mine. It's mine. Where shall I? Utterances of non-sentences, e.g. Utterances of non-sentences, for example short phrases, or single words, are used by people in communication all the time. People do not converse wholly in tokens of well-formed sentences. But the abstract idea of a sentence is the basis for understanding even those expressions which are not sentences. In the overwhelming majority of cases, the meanings of non-sentences can best be analyzed by considering them to be abbreviations, or incomplete versions, of whole sentences. 1. Magnus, when did Goethe die? Fred, in 1832. 2. Hostess, would you like tea or coffee? Guest, coffee, please. 3. A. Who won the Battle of Waterloo? B. Wellington. Semantics is concerned with the meanings of non-sentences, such as phrases and incomplete sentences, just as much as with whole sentences. But it is more convenient to begin our analysis with a case of whole sentences. The meanings of whole sentences involve propositions. The notion of a proposition is central to semantics. What exactly a proposition is much debated by semanticists. Definition: a proposition is that part of the meaning of the utterance of a declarative sentence which describes some state of affairs. The state of affairs typically involves persons or things referred to by expressions in a sentence and the situation or action they are involved in. In uttering a declarative sentence, a speaker typically asserts a proposition. The notion of truth can be used to decide whether two sentences express different propositions. Thus, if there is any conceivable set of circumstances in which one sentence is true, while the other is false, we can be sure that they express different propositions. Consider the following pairs of sentences. Consider the following pairs of sentences. In each case, say whether there are any circumstances of which one member of the pair could be true and the other false, assuming in each case that the same name, for example Harry, refers to the same person. 1. John gave Mary a book. Mary was given a book by John. Yes, no. 2. Isabel loves Tony. Tony loves Isabel. Yes, no. 3. George danced with Ethel. George didn't dance with Ethel. Yes, no. 4. Dr. Findlay killed Janet. Dr. Findlay caused Janet to die. Yes, no. False propositions do not correspond to facts. True propositions correspond to facts, in the ordinary sense of the word fact. False propositions do not correspond to facts. Two meaningful declarative sentence tokens express the same proposition if and only they mean the same thing. One proposition can be expressed by more than one sentence, even the sentence in different language. There is problematic and complicated relationship between mental processes, for example thoughts, abstract semantic entities, for example propositions, linguistic entities, for example sentences, and actions, for example utterances. Normally, when a speaker utters a simple declarative sentence, he commits himself to the truth of the corresponding proposition, i.e. he asserts the proposition. By uttering a simple interrogative or imperative, a speaker can mention a particular proposition, without asserting its truth. In each of the following, indicate whether a proposition is asserted by truth or not. John left yesterday. Did John leave yesterday? Can John leave this afternoon? John, get out of here. Decide whether each pair of sentences below has the same or different propositional content. If they have the same propositional content, identify the proposition that they both share. Take out the garbage. You will take out the garbage. Can you pass the salt? The salt shaker is nearly empty. 1. State which of the following represents an utterance, you, and which of sentence this. John sang wonderfully last night. Test, you. John sang wonderfully last night. Test, you. 2. Is an utterance tied to a particular time and place? Yes, no. 3. Is a sentence tied to a particular time and place? Yes, no. 4. Can the proposition be said to be in any particular language? Yes, no.